You claim to be the man of 1,000 holds, but I counted, and you know about 60, but I know 1,004, and I wrote them all down. Here we go. Hold 1, arm drag. Hold 2, arm bar. Hold 3, the moss-covered, 3-handled family gradunzel.
So first time in a long time, Aaron Sparrow here is back on the channel, and there has been some recent developments. It sounds like Image Comics is going to address the lack of Comic-Cons by setting up a comic cruise in 2022 or 2023. Essentially, a comic convention, image-centric, out on the ocean. I can't think of a worse idea personally, but I wanted to bring my good friend, independent writer. Obviously, he's done Dark Week, Duck, a lot of manga adaptations. He's done a lot of stuff in comic books. Obviously, with me is Aaron Sparrow. Wanted to hear what your thoughts were on this. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing great, Wes. This is the worst idea I could ever think of. Let's take the most socially awkward people in the world, and I love comic fans. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love them. I'm one of them. I am part of this tribe. But let's be honest. As a whole, we're not the most, socially adept people in the world. So let's take all of these people and put them on a boat with Image Comics creators. That feels like a recipe for disaster.
Well, there's going to be some comic journalists. Maybe Rich Johnson will be there. Maybe some Jude Terra be on that ship. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now, I would love to attend the comic convention on the high seas, but I would want to do it virtually. Actually, I would be a little worried about the smells.
That alone, anybody who's ever been to a convention has known that there are quite a few unique odors on display, and I feel like cramming people into tiny cabins on a boat, that is going to be everybody's going to be wondering, is the sewage system backing up? Is what's happening? And it's like, no, just there's a lot of people that aren't showering. Well, you know what? Maybe there's no Hall H, so maybe people aren't sleeping outside for several days and getting that stink worked up. Maybe because they can go back to their cabin. Maybe it would be a little bit better. But I feel like that much of a trapped enclosed space might be a really bad idea. And on top of that, I'm just thinking to myself, do you really want to spend several days locked on a small vessel? Cruise ships are pretty big, but you cram that many people on there, locked in a small vessel with like Eric Larson. Is that going to be fun?
I think Kirkman would be able to handle it fine. He seems to handle criticism, stuff like that. But Eric Larson trapped on a ship with a couple of thousand comic fans, I think would be amazing. I think we would see people being thrown overboard. I think maybe some Savage Dragon penises would be drawn on people's faces while they were passed out. I think it could be tons of fun. I think Eric would absolutely lose his mind.
Yeah, I think it would. Whatever anxieties he has, I think it'd be like super off the rails. I think that'd be true of like a lot of comic book creators. I mean, they could like retreat to their cabins, but they're not the best at online interaction, much less like face-to-face interaction, I imagine. So I think it would be a recipe for disaster. And as I'm talking about this, I want to go. Now I want to be on the ship. I want to witness this go down. I want to just be standing off to the side, having a drink, watching the train wreck. I think this would be amazing.
I just feel like a mobile version of me that, it transmits the picture back here to the Philippines where I can monitor it, drive myself around the ship, maybe talk to some people, but I don't want to be there, because it seems like it would go down rather badly in my opinion. But I'll tell you this. I personally, I'm staying off of Twitter for the most part right now. I'll go in there and promote the channel here and there, maybe, make fun of a comic book article. But if there was a cruise ship with 2,000 comic book fans on it, with comic creators and journalists, I would be on Twitter 24 hours a day, just trying to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, I've mostly, I said that I was going to leave Twitter, and I did for a few weeks. And it was just the most amazing experience. Like, you don't even know how, until you do it, until you kind of cut that cord, you don't know how Twitter and social media is affecting you. You don't know how much negativity it is putting into your brain and into your attitude and into your soul. So just disconnecting for 2 weeks completely changed my perspective. And I've gone back now because there are a lot of people, I realized, there are things that I'm going to need to promote. and I've got a decent following on there. There are people that I do want to keep in contact, and that's the easiest way. But I broke the habit of waking up and going to Twitter and scrolling through the news feed and seeing what other people were saying. I broke that habit, and I broke the habit of scrolling. And so I barely look at anything on Twitter anymore. I go on, I say what I have to say, I respond to people that talk to me directly, and then I'm out. And it just I had to break the bad habits with Twitter that I had developed of being kind of like dependent on it for news and for finding out what was going on in the world. It's not a news source; it's a mental illness source. And,
Absolutely. And I would be all over it. I wouldn't be able to control myself. There would be so much booze-fueled, high seas-fueled Twitter drama within the comic circles. I know who I am. I can stay away from Twitter, but I can't stay away from that. I would be on there. I would be trying to egg on fights. I'd be like, "You're gonna let him talk to you like that?" I would be so over it. I wouldn't be able to say no.
See, I mean, yeah, no, I'd have to see what was going on, and it's so funny because in my heart, I'm not a person who likes drama. I try to avoid it as much as I can in my personal life, but drama always finds us, unfortunately. But on Twitter, drama is the currency in which it runs. So I'd be right there with you. As much as I don't like it, I'd be like, well, I gotta know. This is like bucket of popcorn. This is crazy stuff. Look at this.
Can you believe what's happening? And are they going to have halls? Who knows? But I could see a lot of shenanigans. We always hear the horror stories about what happens, on the bar circuit at the comic conventions when you got it all there at the same place. It's just got to add to the ambiance and just the idea of what a Comic Con and how terrible it actually could be is when you contain everything to one single deck.
Yeah, it's like, Comic Cons are wild, and there's a lot of crazy things that happen. How can we really boil that down to a concentrate? And it would be absolute chaos. I can't imagine people are gonna want to do this. What do cruises cost? I've never been on a cruise. What do they cost? $1,000, $2,000 more?
I bet for something like this, it would be in between $500 or $600 per person, in a room. Upwards of $1,500 if you wanted the cabin with the window, in the good decks and stuff. But if you don't mind being on the inside, in a sardine can, and there's two of you, I bet you could do it for $550, $600 each.
You know what kind of disturbs me about this is Robert Kirkman, I think has kind of transcended comics to be a legit low level celebrity. With the success of Walking Dead, people know, and I don't say low level in a demeaning way. I just mean he's not Tom Hanks, but people know who he is. So I think that you could definitely get a modicum of interest to, hey, I'm going to go hang out on a cruise ship with Robert Kirkman. But a lot of the other comic creators, I don't like this attitude that has kind of developed amongst comic professionals, where they think that they're celebrities, because we're not. And I'm certainly not. I'm at a very low level even in comics. But even your people in the higher levels, it's you're not celebrities. People outside of this very niche market have no idea who you are, and if they did know who you are, they probably wouldn't like you. So
that's what tells me they're a celebrity 1 weekend at a time as they're on the road on the convention circuit. You imagine, you put it on a deck on a boat. The heads get even more explosive. I guarantee you half of the Image staff would be fired within a week for some type of harassment issues. People are going to have their cell phones out. There's going to be documentation on everything that goes down. It could actually sink just Image as a company.
Yeah, I've been told that the majority of things that you do on a cruise ship are just eat and drink, and just already, like you said, the bar circuit at comic conventions tend to have a lot of things go wrong. Get a lot of socially awkward people together. You get them drunk, bad things are going to happen. Now you do
people that are only celebrities for 2 days at a time. They're finally a celebrity again. People are giving them free drinks. Never goes
recipe for disaster. But man, it would be a delicious dumpster fire to watch, wouldn't it?
Birch would go there. He'd probably have his Winnie the Pooh hat on, so nobody would know it was him. He'd be incognito, and he'd be trying to get everybody out of trouble. Because he's the Jiminy Cricket of the comic book industry. but he wouldn't be able to stop it. There would be it would just be a booze fueled, train wreck. It would be so amazing. And I would hope that you would go too. You would have your own booth. You could sell some Darkwing Duck. You could also have another booth where you're selling some action figures. Make your money back.
Everything I monetize everything that I do. Anywhere that I go, I have to even if somebody like invites me somewhere, I'm like, okay, well, what toy stores can I hit on the way, and find some cool stuff and make some money. But
yeah, I had to order a couple burgers from the Grubhub, send them over your way just to get you on the channel here today.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm a mercenary. So yeah, you know what? You throw a little money my way, I'll show up at that cruise ship. All inclusive. Yeah, just give me a cabin and drinks and food. I'll show up.
Aaron Sparrow, burger whore. You throw a couple burgers his way, and he'll do whatever you want.
That's exactly right. I'm not cheap, but I can be bought. Oh no, wait, no, I am actually cheap. I can be bought cheap. But yeah, this cruise, logistically, I don't even know. Would you set up booths? Would you have, or would just be everybody just milling about? Like there's Gail Simone on the Lido deck. Go up and talk to her about Secret Six and
whale sighting. Oh no.
Oh my God. You know what I would love more than anything? Being trapped on a boat that I can't escape with the Mary Sue reporters. Oh, that sounds
imagine like Kelly Sue DeConnick?
I've never met Kelly Sue. Like I've seen her at a couple of shows.
I've seen her on videos. It would be terrible to be stuck on a boat with her.
Is it really?
Like a couple of Shirley Temples in her hand.
And yeah, I don't know. The funny thing is that I've met a lot of people at conventions. I'll turn this positive because I know that you're a guy who believes in turning things positive. I'm going to name some people that I think it'd be fun to hang out with on a cruise ship, just based on experiences that I've had at cons. I think I'd enjoy hanging out with Chip Zdarsky on a cruise ship. Every time I've encountered him, he's been just a really cool guy. Tim Seeley, I'd probably enjoy hanging out with on a cruise ship. That dude's a real solid dude. And he bought me a beer at a Wizard World. So, I always have a certain amount of affection for it.
Like, what is it called in Harry Potter? Is it butterbeer or something?
Yeah, butterbeer. But no, it's funny. We were at a Wizard World and we were both. It was really slow, and I was talking to him about it, and he was like, "You know what? Come on, let's go get a beer." And like we went over to because they had a beer stand at the Wizard World. We went over, we got beer, and made the experience a little bit better. But yeah, he bought me a beer. Super good guy. God, who else? Who else would be fun? Obviously, hanging out with Silvani or Darren Bennett or Andrew Dalhouse or any of my crew would be fun. We're a fun bunch.
Would you bring Jesse Blaze Snyder with you?
Oh my God, yes, I would.
Onto a boat like that, he wouldn't be able to handle it.
No, he Jesse's like really good in like every situation.
He'd have so many comic nerds up his butt.
But you know what? Jesse has that crazy energy. We got to get him on the show, especially he's back down in LA now, so we could both come on the show at the same time. We'll actually, if you're open to it, we'll probably end up doing that. We can talk about some fun stuff. But he's just got such like a crazy manic energy and such a positive like passion for comics. He's really he's really different than most comic creators. He's very outgoing. He's very interested in people. He's not an introvert. He's very much an extrovert in like the best ways, and he really cares about people. So he would be, if anything, he would be the voice of reason and healing in the chaos of the cruise ship.
So he'd be like the Undertaker of the WWE. He'd be having comic court and settling cases.
Yeah, exactly.
You owe him an apology. You owe him a case of whiskey. You were way out of luck.
But not on this ship, because honestly, that's what caused this problem in the first place.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I wonder how many petty vendettas would play out. This sounds like drama cruise. I love it. The more that we talk about it, like at first I was like, this is the worst idea, and I still think it's the worst idea. But now I'm like for it. It's the worst idea in the best way.
If you want to make $1 million, Aaron, what you do is you get you a film crew. You get the rights to go and record you a reality TV show on that ship. Magic's going to happen. You're going to get at least 8 hours worth of magic with that crew. You're going to be able to sell it to E or whatever network wants. You're going to name your price just to the amount of insanity that goes on.
Now I'd get a Netflix deal for documentary series, DramaCon. Uh, we would it would just be it would be that Marvel 616 video of Dan Slott that was just a disaster, just amped up to
It's make the Dan Slott 616 video look like child's play.
yeah, just turn the crazy up to 11 and rip off the knob. I'm so excited. Please let this happen. I can't imagine that it's going to. I'm going to call it right now and say I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that they're going to get the response that they want. I don't think that there's enough people heavily invested in comics that would want to spend that money left. I really don't. Like, maybe you're kind of like high rollers that want to hobnob with Z-list celebrities, which is what I think we all are in the comic book industry, except for Robert Kirkman, obviously.
So interestingly enough, one of my goals, I want to go on the Jericho cruise with my wife. I don't want to bring the boys. They got to be old enough, but I do want to take my wife on the Jericho cruise, which is essentially Chris Jericho's cruise with a bunch of professional wrestlers. They record like AEW live on there and stuff like that.
I would love to do that. I've met Chris a couple times. He's a really good guy. Like, when you meet him, he's super positive, and it seems like he really loves the fact that, like, you're a fan of his, and he's the one thing I really liked about him that I think set him apart is, like, when you go up and you meet him, he'll ask questions about you. It's he generally seems interested in people. So I think the Jericho cruise would probably be really great because, you're going to get to interact with him, and he's interested in people. So he's going to be asking you questions, and it's going to be a real positive thing. And like a lot of the, the wrestlers, I think, are probably a lot of fun to hang out with. I know that I've had opportunity to pal around a little bit with Xavier Woods, Austin Creed, a few times. And I absolutely love that dude. He and I haven't met his bros in the New Day, but they just seem like just such fun guys, and I know he's a real fun guy. He's come to the table at shows and said hello and bought Darkwing books. You can't say enough positive things about him. So yeah, I bet the Jericho cruise would be fantastic. I'd go on. I'd join you on that cruise.
I would love it. Plus they're going to record 2 episodes of AEW live on there. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, watching wrestling on a ship, that'd be pretty cool. And you know what? Yeah. We let's do it. Let's combine it. Let's go on the Jericho cruise. Hey, anybody want to come with some minor YouTubers and some professional wrestlers? Let's get some other YouTubers in on this, and we'll make it like a dual purpose cruise.
Absolutely, I would love to do it. Hey, I'm being serious. When the Jericho cruise lines up again, if we got the money, I'm willing to go, and I'm bringing my wife with me.
You know what? This is how I want the announcement to go. Chris Jericho. Wes from Thinking Critical.
Absolutely.
The Stone Cold Steve Austin. Clownfish TV. Like just all the just go check it out. Doomcock. Yeah. And people are like people read Doomcock that aren't in the know, and they're like, wait, is Doomcock a YouTuber or a professional wrestler? I'm not sure. Could be either.
Absolutely. Yeah, that one, he transcends just YouTube. That could absolutely be a heel wrestler name.
Absolutely could.
And hailing from parts unknown.
Hailing from parts unknown with parts very known by many. Doomcock.
All right. Well, Aaron, I appreciate you coming on here and discussing the idea of having a comic book cruise ship, in 2023 from Image Comics. Also, Skybound would be a part of that. Obviously, that's Robert Kirkman's imprint over at Image. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be a beautiful train wreck.
Yeah, yeah. I think to get the interest, you'd have to combine it with something else. Like you'd also have to have the celebrity aspect. So it'd be like, it can't just be Image Comics on a cruise. I don't think that's gonna put.
What if we get like who was the guy that played Superman on the CW? In
Tom Welling.
Tom Welling. Maybe we can get John Wesley Shipp. He was the Flash. Like we get some real celebrities going.
Yeah, it could be a Wizard World on the high seas.
It'd be beautiful. Later, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.